My mother and father worked together, and it was such a classic mom and pop thing. My dad bought a truck, and then my mother did his bookwork before they were married, and then ran the office. They worked together, and it was a team. They were a team. My mother had worked in Plymouth and knew the craft people, and she introduced my father to the craft people, and they had a contract with Kraft, and it was like we were part of the Kraft family. I think we were probably a major factor in Kraft because at that point, the family trucking company was picking up all the cheese at the various little cheese factories. During the war, my father bought the Noble, I think it was a Noble Transportation in St. Paul, and then they moved into meat. So then it became a cheese and meat company. When I was a little girl, the office was in our home, and it was so much fun. I had truck drivers for babysitters, and it was all a family at that time. I started working in the office when I was 15 years old, and it was fun too. I think my dad eventually had 11 trucks, and it was always buy another truck.
When I met Joan, was in law school in Madison at a pizza parlor. That's where we met. She was drinking beer and eating pizza with a good friend of mine from my Lawrence days.
Meeting Bob was wonderful. Bob came into the business. I think we'd been married a year, 2 years, and started in the company.
In 1957, I was offered a position, come and know what trucking is about. So at that particular time, the company had refrigerated units. That's all they had. They transported basically cheese and meat products.
So in the 1960s, we saw an opportunity, my dad saw an opportunity to get into the liquid milk business down in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. And that is basically, that was the driving point, or what made us what we are today, is 100% liquid food grade tanker carrier. And a big part of our market share today is hauling liquid chocolate.
We leased our authority to a company by the name of O'Donnell. They had no freight units. They strictly were liquid. So that's how we kind of learned the liquid business. Eventually we bought O'Donnell out and became very much active in the so-called liquid business rather than the so-called meat business, cheese business. Very different from hauling cheese and hauling meat to hauling liquid products. Huge, difference in equipment, thoughts of unloading, if you want to be in the so-called liquid business. The National Tank Truck Carriers were the group. So we applied and were members of that group for many, many years. And through elevation, I guess I became the chairman and made a lot of friends, etc., acquaintances. It was a great experience.
We're presently one of the largest liquid food grade chocolate haulers in the nation. And that's a great privilege for us to have in our business. And I see that being part of our platform going forward, and also developing other transportation niches.
Family businesses were very rare to hold a family business into the third and fourth generation. This is a very unusual thing. The whole family has this concept of a really moral, honest company doing something good. We're doing something useful and good, and hauling food is good. And if we could do it, it would keep it going. Keep it going.
One of the benefits of growing up in a family business is you learn from a very young age on what makes a company successful. And learning from my parents, Bob and Joan Schaup, how they were dedicated to the customers, dedicated to the employees, dedicated to the drivers. That was a great gift for me to receive from them, and I thank them for sharing. The reason why we've been a successful company for so long is we always deliver our loads on time. We make sure that our drivers get home safely at night. We make sure that all our employees are taken care of, and that's why we've been successful in the trucking business for almost 100 years.